Undertale by Toby Fox. We see Error's dialogue saying that he got a workout in, along with laughter and a broken gaster blaster, telling GENO SANS that he forgives him. Error says that he has been looking all over for him. The voices seemingly assisted Error in finding GENO's timeline, saying that the voices ask about GENO a lot. If they have met yet, and what would Error think of finding another glitch like himself? Error admits to GENO that he isn't impressed. GENO is just another glitch he needs to clean up. As Error talks GENO's ear off about his studying, GENO suddenly asks if Error still has his brother. Error didn't like being interrupted during his dialogue, telling GENO that it was rude and to not change the subject. But GENO continues by saying that he doesn't have his. That Error most likely wouldn't be here if he still had his brother, just like how GENO wouldn't be here either. What happened to your papyrus? Error enters his heavily glitched state, alarming GENO of Error's nerves. But after some silence, GENO continues. GENO speaks on living inside of the save screen for 1,000 resets, hoping that they could find proof that all of this wasn't just in their head, and it just had to be Error. Error taking a step back from the menacing tied-up glitch before him. GENO saying Error looks rattled, that a chill went down his spine, and Error being upset from the truth. Error is not amused by GENO's jokes and humor, yanking him to the side in rage, letting GENO know his intentions to eliminate him. GENO retells Error's plan back to Error, Error being unaware that GENO can't exactly die, at least inside the save screen, but Error doesn't buy it. GENO telling Error that he is entitled to his opinion, and that GENO is done with humoring Error's plan, that there is no point in stringing Error along anymore. GENO giving his final warning for Error to leave. Error stays determined to remove this most broken, unwanted piece of code he has ever met. Error is doing him a favor, asking for GENO's last words. GENO slowly cracking a smile and saying, "Everyone is dead. I killed them all. You are next." A fatal error has occurred. Fatal Error is even more glitched when compared to Error Sans. A way you can interpret his voice is his text effects from Underverse. Chapter 1 begins, and we see the white text of a disembodied voice, asking about how confused Fatal is, and that they have time. The voice wants to start with an easy question, asking how Fatal got here. and if he even remembers how he got here. Fatal does say that he can remember, but then he proceeds to slowly rise to his feet, noticing the strings and asking what they are. But having touched these strings, code appears and memory dumps into his mind. Fatal, seeing bits and pieces of the event, saying that he can see those numbers, that code, that he knows it's error, declaring his mission to find him. This is fully understandable. I would want my full revenge. Fatal relaxes and looks up to find many beautiful stars in the empty, vast expanse of space. Fatal seems to always see the code of what he is looking at, causing him to panic because of just how overwhelming that would be. We see text appear and it alarms Fatal, and Untitled Sans appears, saying Fatal looks starstruck, but Fatal doesn't look amused. Like, at all. As Outer comments on Fatal not being much of a talker, Papyrus and Frisk appear. Sans and Papyrus have some punny banter, but Frisk cuts it short, aggressively patting on Papyrus's head, showing Fatal thinking this Papyrus was his, and Papyrus being oblivious to this potentially dangerous behavior. Fatal zips away, and zips closer but from behind, reaching for Papyrus. But Fatal stops, and the voice says that they think Fatal knew that they weren't the right Papyrus. Fatal just really wanted them to be. The group being horrified as Fatal seems to shake. Papyrus shakingly tells Fatal that he is Papyrus, the great Papyrus himself. Fatal begins to shudder and cover his face as he begins speaking. Of course you are not him. How could you be? It's his fault. You have the wrong code. You're not where Papyrus is. You're not him. Why? Fatal is so distraught about the lack of his Papyrus by his side that it leads to breakdowns like this one. I can't blame him. He has seen Papyrus's death more than 500 times, and now his code is barely properly functional. He can't think straight, and even his words are barely organized and understandable. The group shiver in their boots as the voice questions if Fatal can see things that no one else can. Fatal sees Error's domain full of bodies tangled in his blue strings. Fatal gets a closer look, and it's many versions of himself that didn't go fatal. We flash to when GENO went fatal. Error yanks and slams Fatal to the ground, and Error stands above Fatal. But at some point, Error loses control of the situation, having Fatal being able to escape. The ending panel showing us a panicked Blueberry reaching out to Fatal. The voice saying that they didn't think Fatal could become any more broken than they already were. And yet, here you are.